Well, hi, and welcome back to another Happy Highlights. Happy Highlights is a new series where I want to share with you things that have happened to me during the past month, that have given me joy, given me pause for thought, given me some kind of pleasure, be that big or small, to share with you. I want to share those things with you for two reasons. First of all, I think you will get to know me a little bit better. And secondly, because I'm hoping that you will see something or hear something that you'll be able to incorporate into your own life that will also give you a lift and a little bit of joy and pleasure. After all, we are happy stuff and fluff, and the whole aim of my channel is to help you get happy, live longer and grow younger. So the things I talk about will be related to those three things, of course. In this video, we're going to be talking about horses, about art, about football, about lots of things. So let me get started. But first of all, I just want to show you this. Let me cover my address for various reasons. You see what that is? It's a polling card, because in the UK this last week, we all voted, most of us, voted to decide who was going to be the Prime Minister to run our country. Of course, it's over with now. Votes are counted. It's done and dusted. My sister, who volunteers in all kinds of different ways, to such an extent that she was personally invited to Princess Kate's Christmas service this year, she was at the polling stations, and she told me of someone she met who at age 62 was voting in this, who'd lived in this country for 62 years, and this was the first time she had voted. This was a bit of a shock to me. I think, you know, as a woman, we fought long and hard. Not me, but our ancestors fought long and hard to win the vote. And also, irrespective of who won or who wins, and I know obviously you have a big election coming up in the United States too, I think regardless of who ends up winning that vote, never to lose sight of what a privilege it is to live in a country where you are allowed to vote, where, for the moment, where we do have free speech, where we are allowed to go and make our choice about who we want to run the country. And as I say, I think that's a privilege that we must not lose sight of and fight to keep. Okay, fighting talk over with, but I just thought I'd start with that because I do see it as a privilege. I do see it as a privilege. Okay, so next up, I want to talk about soccer or football. We call it football. Okay, when I say football in this sense, for my viewers from America, what I mean is soccer. So England is in the European Championships of football at the moment. And now when this video goes out, they may have reached the final, they may not. England have just played Switzerland a few days ago. And I just wanted to say that I think as the days go by, my emotions seem to be right at the surface. I can cry at an advertisement on TV, a little bit like that. The football, now I'm not a fan of football. I don't follow anyone. I don't usually watch the football. But of course, if it's my country playing, then I want to support them and I will watch that. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. So England were playing Switzerland. Switzerland scored a goal. I was devastated. Then England scored a goal. I was elated. And then it went on, and then it went into extra time, and it was full of tense. And I had to leave the room. I just had to leave the room all the time and then sneak back in to see what was happening. Worst of all, after extra time, they played penalties, which mean there was a shootout. It was the most... Oh my goodness, I thought I was going to be physically sick. I was so tense. It was just incredible. We won. We won the game. But then I couldn't bear to watch the players on the Swiss team who were crying because they'd lost, whilst we were next to them celebrating because we'd won. I went, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I just couldn't. I mean, how are you a sports fan? If you are a sports fan, how do you deal with it? Now, I know it probably wasn't a pleasurable thing, but let me put it this way. It certainly heightened my emotions. And if that doesn't let you know you are still alive, I don't know what does. Needless to say, at this moment in time, I feel that if England do get to the finals, I sincerely hope they win. I'm not sure I'll be able to watch. Oh, shout at me if you like. It was just too much. So that was the soccer. Now, the other thing, in terms of, let me talk about riding first of all. I used to ride horses. I've always loved horses, even as a child, where I don't think I even saw a horse. Not the kind you ride. We certainly saw the shire horses and so on that would be around here and there, but not the very fit looking beautiful horses until I was quite old, in my teens as it were. But just like with people, to see a fit body performing to the best of its ability in whatever thing that is, I find that enjoyable to watch. So I guess that goes back to the soccer. You could say that about that too. It's why I like the dancing, it's why I like ballet, and also watching horses. I like to see that. I'm not overly fond of the racing. I'm not overly fond of watching racing, but certainly show jumping, I love to see that. So here's a little film. Now this is an event that turned out badly wrong, in fact. We were meant to be going to watch the show jumping with some friends who, for no reason of their own, at the last minute they couldn't make it, and we decided to go anyway. This is just a little film of what happened. Okay, yes, so this is how one dresses for an afternoon out in England in the summertime. Let me tell you, you can see those clouds there, and it's freezing. It's absolutely freezing. Yeah, next time I'll be in the VIP tent, let me put it that way. But fabulous, it's absolutely gorgeous, and we're having a fantastic time. But it's very cold. So I'm going to watch the next event, and then I'll probably mosey on back to the car park. Incidentally, Great Britain won that last round, and the USA came second. I'm very sorry about that. I'm sure the USA will win the next one. Yeah, okay, so we'll definitely come back again, but I'll be more prepared, I think, for this ghastly weather. Yeah, okay, see you in a minute. So there you go. That's what happens in this country. Not just recently, it's always been the case. The weather has never been predictable. That's why we are renowned for always complaining about the weather. You can't plan. I couldn't say this weekend I'd like to have a barbecue, for example, because, all the people might come and it would pour with rain. It's just a bit like that in this country. You just have to take it, the weather as it comes. but sitting there freezing, and it really was freezing. And we were actually in the champagne enclosure there, where we were supposed to be able to get some food. It was so windy, it was so cold, it was so horrible, they decided not to serve food there. And because we were sitting there and had paid extra to be there, the poor chap came out offering us free champagne. Well, as much as I love champagne, as you'll see by this, oh yes, I was in London recently pressing for champagne. As much as I love it, it wasn't going to keep me sitting there in the cold and the rain. And so unfortunately, we abandoned that particular experience. We cut it short and came home. So that was that. Okay, next up, I'm going to take you to look at something that Mr. Kitchen and I, well, we bought it quite a while ago actually, but we've only recently put it on the wall because the walls were being painted. That's a long story that I'll save for another time. Finally, the walls were finished, and this has gone onto the wall, and it brings me joy every morning, so I want you to see that. Okay, so you can just about get a glimpse of what I want you to see. Let me show you there. Let's go in, I'll show you. That's one view of it. This is what it's actually hiding. You can see me through the mirror, but that's what I want you to see there. That's what I wake up to every morning, and it brings me joy. Let me flip you around and I'll show you. Okay, so that's it in its full glory. As you can see, it's hung on the wall. It's actually a tapestry. I will go in a little bit closer in a second. I just want you to see the full size of it. It is quite big. It's taken from a painting by Sir William Reynolds Stevens. It was done in 1891. Now, while we bought it, what we liked about it, the painting is kind of neoclassical in style. As you can see, there are classical elements in there, but there's also an almost pre-Raphaelite style to these women, these resting women. And I like the classical style. Mr. Kitchen is quite fond of pre-Raphaelite, the pre-Raphaelite's work, and so it appealed to both of us. So William, by the way, was an American-born British artist, and he was very much influenced by the arts and crafts movement, hence, I guess, the pre-Raphaelite connection. But also he was influenced by an artist by the name of Alma Tadema, or Alma Tadema, however you want to call him. And he used to paint these. If I can get an image, I'll insert one for you to see. But let me just come in a little closer. If you look at that lady there, you can see how very pre-Raphaelite she is. Well, I guess they all are, if you look. So a tapestry, because I wanted a texture in this room. We have quite a few artworks. So you can also tell, I think, by the way this is painted, that Sir William was also a sculptor. In fact, he gave up painting altogether in the end. He also designed interiors, you know, one of these polymath Victorians that did a bit of everything. Yeah, I like the tapestry because it adds a different texture. Now, it's hanging on a wall that's painted with clay paint, which are the whole nother story, but it's just the piece I needed. And I think it's joyful, it's peaceful and relaxing and perfect for a bedroom. Let me know what you think. Okay, so just sticking with art just for another second. In recent years, I'd say probably in the last 2 or 3 years or so, I've taken a liking to Dutch still life art. I've never really, I've always appreciated it, but never really actually enjoyed still lives as much as I seem to have done recently. I think it was since I saw an exhibition at Manchester Art Gallery where they showed the Dutch still lives with more contemporary works, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, It's going to be a long while before I can afford my own Dutch still life. But I just want you to look at this. And there it is, my very own still life painting. Isn't that just absolutely stunning? I mean, the colours, let me take you in. Oh, it's just divine. And yes, guess what it is? Well, I have it on my wall all the time, at least all the time when the television's turned off, because that's a Samsung frame TV. And I found that glorious painting, put it on my television. So now in my sitting room, I have my very own still life painting, thanks to the genius that is the Samsung TV. I mean, how much nicer is that than just a black hole on the wall? I'm absolutely delighted with it. So yes, tell me what you think about the Tapestry down below, and also the Samsung TV. I'll leave a link to the Samsung TVs. I just think they're a fantastic thing, because, as I say, a black hole on the wall, I couldn't bear that now. Excuse me, if for some reason that picture hasn't come on, I spot it straight away when I walk in the room. It's just one way of disguising that big black hole. And you can choose, this is the thing, I can even get my favourite pictures from Etsy to put on the television. So it's a good way of introducing art, which I've done there, into your room without paying a fortune for it. What I am going to do is get someone to build a frame to go around that black frame. I'd like just a small timber frame to go around to make it look even more like an artwork than the TV. Do you have a Samsung TV? Let me know in the comments box if you do have a TV like that. Okay, what I wanted to talk about next was one or two YouTube channels that I watch that you might be interested in. Of course, you know about John Campbell. That's quite a serious one. John Campbell is the doctor, nurse, who got me through COVID, watching his channel, because I like the depth of research he goes into, because I like his irony and sarcasm even when he's angry about something. It's good to see people get angry in a kind of honest way, not a critical way, a very honest way. And if he is criticising something, you get the reasons why he's criticising. You know, you get the science behind what's given him his thoughts on a particular subject. So I like that. I left a link, that was who I asked you to watch in terms of the dementia video. I'll leave a link to that video down below if you haven't seen that. But yeah, so John Campbell is someone I watch when I need to keep my eye on something in terms of health. Another person I watch, but they're very long videos, and I have to watch them in short chunks. I watch Leonora Smee. Now, Leonora Smee is a young girl who I suggest they're quite wealthy. She's quite a wealthy country girl, shall we say, and they live in the south of England. Her family have a home also in Mallorca, and sometimes she films in Mallorca, which I love to watch. More often than not, she used to ride horses too. She was, in fact, I think she was show jumper for the Olympics, the British Olympics. She had an accident, she doesn't do that anymore, but you'll see she's stunning to look at, and she models, and she's a representative for a lot of British brands. So she talks about fashion, she talks about all kinds of things. And you see her home and her homemaking. It's really an interesting channel, but she makes me laugh. She's a typical English Rose, I guess, but she's very English. And sometimes outrageously so, and it just makes me laugh. I'll leave the link to her channel down below for you to watch that. But as I say, these are real vloggers, and they're the videos tend to be about an hour long. So I'll show you what I do in the next video, in the next happy highlights when I'm watching those videos. Okay, so that's 2 videos, one a more serious one and one that's just a pleasure to watch. And if you do go over to Leonora Smee, tell her you came from Happy Stuff and Fluff, please. I do urge you to watch it because it's quite, with stresses and strains of your job or what's going on in the country or whatever, and then you watch something like that, a day in the life or something like that. She's a very happy, cheerful person, and I think it's inspiring. So watch that if you get the chance to do that. Okay, so that's it for this week. My problem is choosing which things to tell you about and how long to let the video go on for. Tell me in the comments box what you might be interested to know about me that I can film. And I have asked a couple of times and I tend to get mixed views about whether you like a long video or a short video. And so I try to do a mix of both. Happy Highlights is going to be longer than the others because, of course, I've got more things to talk to you about and to share. Okay, but I'll leave it for now and I'll see you next time. And until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff and Fluff, we're getting happy, living longer and growing younger. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.